Nourished. I'm Alli. I'm a nutritionist and a yoga teacher and author of the smoothie book. And I'm here to talk to you every week about nutrition topics. This week is all about oregano. We're going to talk about the health information, the history, the varieties, the cuisines that use it. We're going to do a recipe for Herbed Focaccia, which I am super excited about. And we are actually going to do that recipe at the beginning of the show today so that it can bake during the show. And then I can show you the result at the end. And that is going to be really exciting. And we're going to put some fresh oregano and fresh parsley on it today. And a little bit of salt and lots of olive oil. So, anyway, welcome to the show. If you have questions or comments or just want to say hi, please put them in the chat. I love talking to people during the show. Okay, so let's talk Herbed Focaccia to start off the show. I'm going to walk you through what I've done already because I made the dough already because it has to sit for 8 hours to overnight, and then it has to be transferred and then put in the baking dish, and that has to sit for 2 hours. So we are at that point. It has done its overnight rising. It's done. It's sitting for 2 hours. It is ready to be baked. So I'm going to show you. All right. So the official name of this recipe is called the Easiest Herbed Focaccia Bread, and it is super easy. It takes some time. You know, there's a lot of downtime, like you're not doing a lot during that downtime of cooking, probably doing other things in your life. But there's a lot of downtime in the cooking, or not, downtime where you're not doing things, you're just waiting for it to rise. So, this is what you do. Last night, I combined 2 cups of flour with 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix that together, and then in a measuring cup, you add warm water. How much? 1 1/8 teaspoon of yeast and a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. Stir that up a little bit. Let that sit for just 1 minute until it gets kind of dissolved, kind of bubbly. Pour that warm water yeast mixture in with the flour. Stir it up just until it's combined, and then form it into kind of like a ball. Put that in a bowl. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap. Put it in the refrigerator. Super easy. I did it after dinner last night, right before bed. Super easy to do. Then, today, I took it out. Then you transfer it to you're supposed to use a 8-inch round baking dish, but I do not have a round one. I have a heart-shaped one that my parents gave me for Valentine's Day many years ago, and I love it. So, you transfer the dough to the baking dish. Well, first you put olive oil all on the inside of the baking dish. It's very full of olive oil. Oh, you probably can't see it. I probably can't angle it well enough. You put it in there just in the center. Cover it with plastic wrap. Let it sit for 2 hours, which it has been officially 2 hours now. And it really spreads itself out and takes on the shape of the container. So that's where we are with the recipe. Now we will continue. Okay, so next step is, let's see, once the dough, you should fill the pan, drizzle with additional olive oil. I always love an excuse to use olive oil. All right, I'm drizzling. Okay, and use your fingers to press holes down to the bottom of the pan, but do not go all the way through the dough. Okay, so we don't want to break the dough. Oh boy. It's a little bit softer than I thought. Okay, so you know how focaccia always has those little indentations in it? Oh, this is fun. Okay, I just made some holes, and the olive oil is just filling itself right into the holes. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. Okay, all right, and there we go. Let's see. I'm going to see if, and I have a towel here with hearts on it. I wanted to keep with the theme. All right, so here we go. We've got the indentations from my fingers. All right, then you sprinkle herbs and salt. The recipe calls for rosemary and parsley and thyme. I'm using oregano and, excuse me, there was a pop-up on my computer. I'm using oregano and parsley fresh from our garden and some salt. And I'm only going to put on half of it because I know that my 4-year-old son probably won't want the herb part. So we'll make a little bit of plain. Okay. So sprinkling, sprinkling, sprinkling just on half. Oh, that looks nice. And some parsley. Looks, you know, kind of artistic, just doing it on half. And we're going to put salt, though, on the whole thing. That's good. Okay. I think next time I'm going to put some olives in there too. Doesn't that look nice? Okay, the oven is set to 450. We're putting the bread inside. And then it says to lower the temperature to 425. And cook for 22 to 24 minutes. I'm going to cook it for 20 minutes just to check in. Okay. 20 minutes. And while that's cooking, we can talk oregano. So this is oregano parsley focaccia with lots of olive oil. Really excited about that. Okay, so I want to show you the flowers on the top of this oregano. Isn't that pretty? I'd never really seen the flowers until Raphael was growing it in our garden. Okay. What is oregano? Oregano, also known as Oreganum vulgare, is also sometimes called wild marjoram, which is kind of confusing, but we'll talk about that in a little bit, the difference between the two. It's an aromatic perennial herb of the mint family, and it's known for its flavorful dried leaves and flowering tops. It's delicious. Very distinct flavor. Okay, so the fresh and the dry leaves are often used in cooking. The oil of oregano is also used medicinally. We're going to talk about that in full detail in a little bit. Excuse me, I have to get a sip of water. The leaf got stuck in the back of my throat. Okay, so oregano has a very distinct smell and kind of a pungent taste, kind of bitter. I think it's delicious, but it is a very strong flavor. And that's because it has high concentrations of phenolic acid, which we're going to talk about that later too, which gives it its potency, also other really good things, health benefits. So depending on how much of that, you're going to get the pungent or maybe milder flavor. There's a range of flavors. There are a lot of different varieties of oregano. So some are very pungent and some are a little bit milder. Apparently, some people say the Greek is the most pungent. Some say the Mexican version is the most pungent. Maybe side by side we will have to do a taste test next time. I think that would be fun. But apparently the other varieties are milder, and sometimes oregano is even grown for just ornamental purposes, just to be pretty for the flowers, and those are typically milder as well. So, let's talk history. Oregano originally comes from Greece, and it was first used by the Greeks as well. It was first grown there, or found growing there, and eaten by the Greeks. It grows really well in the Rocky Mountain terrain, which there's a lot of there. And the Greek word oregano comes from the two Greek words, oros, which means mountain, and ganos, which means joy. So oregano together means joy of the mountains. I love that. I love that so much. So it loves growing in the mountains and having joy in the mountains. They believed oregano was created by the goddess Aphrodite. She wanted it to be a symbol of joy growing in her garden. And the ancient Greeks also believed that oregano could be a poison antidote. So it was used to treat skin irritations and infections on the skin. Oregano has been an essential ingredient in a lot of other cuisines as well, Mediterranean, Greek, Mediterranean, also in Italian and Mexican cuisine. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. There are so many different varieties, like we were just talking about, of oregano. There's Greek, there's Italian. We're going to talk a little bit more later. And they all have a very strong aroma and that warm, pungent flavor. The Romans adopted oregano as well in history because they enjoyed the taste and how easy it was to cultivate. And in the Middle Ages, it was used medicinally as well. They would chew the oregano leaves as a cure for many ailments like rheumatism, toothache, indigestion, coughing fits. So lots of different reasons to chew oregano besides the flavor. Also, oregano made its way to China, and they used it for many different reasons too. They used it medicinally to help with fevers, vomiting, upset stomachs. So lots of health benefits here. During the Elizabethan era, oregano had a lot of different varieties. It was used to encourage good luck and good health. It was also used in spells, which I thought that was kind of interesting, for happiness, tranquility, health, protection, and letting go of a loved one. It was also worn during sleep to help people have psychic dreams. Oregano was not introduced to the United States until after World War II. The American soldiers really enjoyed their experience in Italy eating oregano in pizza. And so they brought that idea back to the United States, and it became kind of a component of red sauces and pizza because of that. In Italy, right, oregano is used in sauces, but it's also used as flavoring for grilled or roasted or fried vegetables, meats, and fish. So there are so many different species of oregano. Like we were saying before, the one that we get at the grocery is usually kind of middle of the road, mild, but there are so many different varieties. Some pungent, some a little bit milder. Okay, so the cuisines that use oregano, I know that there are probably some I have missed, but these are the ones that kind of showed up a lot in my research. So Italian, of course, we already talked about that. And pasta sauce, pizza sauces, marinades, put on vegetables, meat, and fish. Mexican cuisine, oregano is used as a garnish for pozole, which is that stew with pork and hominy and lots of spice and flavor. It's delicious. Oregano is added to the top, oftentimes with red pepper flakes. Of course, Mediterranean, Greek cuisine, we talked about that because that's where it comes from. Salads, dressings, any sort of roasted food, often used in marinades. Cuban mojo, which is a garlic citrus marinade, it's found in that. And Tex-Mex cuisine, it's found in a lot of dishes, like chicken and rice dishes, things like that. So, to recap on the varieties and add a few more, the most common one is, the botanical name is Oregano vulgare, which is Greek for joy of the mountains. We already talked about that. Then there's Mexican oregano. Some people say that's the most pungent. There's Spanish oregano. There is Syrian oregano. There's Cuban oregano. And there's Greek oregano. I'm sure there are more that I have not found, but those are kind of the top ones I found. Okay, so I know I mentioned that oregano and marjoram are sometimes used interchangeably, even though they are not the same plant. Oregano, they are related though. It's related, but it's confusing because sometimes oregano in some cultures is considered wild marjoram. That's what it's called. So, wild marjoram, but it is not marjoram. Marjoram's botanical name is Oreganum marjorana, which is the same genus as oregano, but different species. So they have that same organum in the beginning of the name, but then the second name is different. So they're different, same, but different. Marjoram has a gentler flavor. It's a little bit sweeter and more mild than oregano, but they often, people interchange them sometimes. Okay, let's talk about oregano oil. So if you are interested in taking oregano oil or using it in your life, talk to your doctor first, because it can be kind of pungent and strong in flavor and medicinally. So talk to your doctor about it first. But it is, FYI, a very, very distinct, strong flavor. So I've used oil of oregano in extract, or tincture. In a tincture, you put it in water or whatever, and some people use it for like preventing colds or keeping their immune system boosted. And if you do consume it, know that it has a very strong flavor. Very, very strong. So some people like to mix it with honey and just take it quickly. Some people put it in sauces like pizza sauces or salad dressings and consume it that way. I've mixed it with echinacea and put it in orange juice. So all different ways to consume it. Let's see. I once paid $40 for 2 grams of oregano. Oh boy. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for oregano. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so let's talk about oil of oregano. So the oil is recommended sometimes as a remedy for sore throats, poor digestion, nausea, nasal congestion, cold sores, muscle and joint pain. It's also an antimicrobial. So it's a good preventative strategy. Some people do. So there's a difference. There's oregano oil as an extract, and then there's oregano essential oil. So the oregano oil as an extract, we can consume it if we want, or use it topically. The essential oil can only be used topically. We're not supposed to consume that. So just be sure if that's something that you're looking for, that it's the oil extract. Essential oils are definitely always just supposed to be used topically. But anyway, oregano oil extract is produced in several extraction methods using compounds like carbon dioxide and alcohol to kind of pull out the oils. And you can take it as a supplement in a pill or a capsule or a tincture, like I was saying that I've done before. It has a very strong taste. Just forewarned. Very strong taste. But you feel like you're doing something good for yourself. Okay, so oregano has very great compounds in it called phenols, terpenes, and terpenoids. They are powerful antioxidants, and they're also responsible for the fragrance of oregano. So 3 main ones that I kept finding over and over again in my research. Carvacrol is the first one. That's the most abundant phenol in oregano. It has been shown to stop the growth of several different kinds of bacteria, so that's the antibacterial component of oregano. Then there is thymol. It's a natural antifungal, also used to support the immune system and protects against toxins. And rosmarinic acid. That's often found in sage, but also found in oregano. And it may, because of its antioxidant components, fight those free radicals that we're always trying to avoid. Okay, so just a quick overview of some benefits of oregano oil. Then we're going to talk about, in general, the benefits of oregano. So oregano oil has antibiotic qualities, which we just discussed from those 3 compounds. It may also help lower cholesterol. This is really cool. There was a study done where people with semi-high cholesterol were given diet and lifestyle advice on how to lower their cholesterol. And then some of the participants were also given 25 milliliters of oregano oil extract after each meal. They did this for 3 months. After 3 months, the group that got the oil had lower LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol. We want that lowered. And they had increased HDL cholesterol, which we want that increased. So it helped their cholesterol versus the people that just got the lifestyle advice. So, pretty cool. Oregano is also a strong antioxidant. Just talked about that, and it also may help reduce inflammation. The carvacrol component of it is the compound that is responsible for potentially reducing inflammation. Okay, so health information in general about oregano. Oregano contains chemicals that might help reduce coughs and spasms. We said that that's kind of been used throughout history, but some people really believe that it does help. It may also help our digestion, so there's kind of a connection with our immune system and helping with our digestion. Also, oregano in general may help with high cholesterol. I told you about that study that was oil extract, but adding oregano into our diet may be helpful as well. And fresh oregano is a great antibacterial agent. It has those phytonutrients, the thymol, the carvacrol, which fight infections such as staph. Oregano is also loaded with antioxidants that help prevent cell damage. We know that that's not good. The free radicals can, cause health problems and damage our cells. So continuing to consume antioxidants. I think everything I talk about has antioxidants in it. So we need those antioxidants. I gotta take a sip of my sparkling water right now. So those antioxidants mainly come from the carvacrol and the thymol in the oregano. And it's also, some people drink oregano tea, which I thought that was interesting. I did a whole episode on garden herbs that you can use to make tea. And oregano tea is delicious. You could also probably, I'm curious if you can buy it in a tea bag that's where it's been dried. So that would be interesting. Probably really good if it was mixed with other things like mint. But I'm going to look into that. And speaking of which, I did try holy basil tea. I know I talked about that in another episode. Check the basil episode out because I had talked a lot about holy basil, which is often called tulsi. It's really nice. It tastes, like you're doing something good for yourself, but I recommend it if you want to try it. Okay, so back to oregano though. Oregano is a good source of fiber, vitamin K, manganese, iron, vitamin E, tryptophan, and calcium. So lots of good nutrients, minerals, vitamins, all of that. So oregano is a good thing to add. Good thing to add to our life. I'm going to check on the timer and see what the status is of our focaccia. 3 minutes. Okay. And then we'll check. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be delicious. We're going to have roasted carrot and tomato soup tonight. We have lots and lots and lots of carrots and tomatoes from our garden. So we're going to have that in a soup tonight. And we're going to have the focaccia on the side. And I think that's going to be really delicious. Okay. So, are there any risks in consuming oregano? Well, you definitely want to talk to your doctor if you're going to do the oil extract. But just oregano leaf in general and small amounts of the oil have been generally considered safe if they're taken in small amounts. Some people are allergic to the plants in the mint family where it comes from. Other plants are basil, lavender, marjoram, mint, sage. So if you find that you have an issue or a sensitivity to those plants, might happen with oregano as well, so just keep that in mind. And consuming large amounts of oregano, I'm not sure what the amount is, but I'm assuming it's large. Amounts might increase the risks of bleeding, so if you're going to be having surgery and you're taking it as a supplement, talk to your doctor about discontinuing that, so just keep that in mind. What is the best way to store oregano? So fresh oregano, like most of my other herbs, I put it in a glass of water in the refrigerator. It keeps really well in there that way. Or you could put the whole stalk in a plastic or glass container in the refrigerator and put that in the drawer, the vegetable drawer in the refrigerator. For dried herbs, especially oregano, put it in a glass container, a dry glass container that's sealed really well. Put it in the pantry or a cabinet somewhere away from light and heat, so not close to your oven or stove. And if you're taking capsules or the oil extract as a tincture or something like that, also store that in a cool, dry place like a cabinet or pantry, away from the stove, away from heat. So that is kind of all of the information that we have today on the plant oregano. So it's really good though. I'm gonna take another taste of the herb. Very distinct flavor. Very distinct flavor. And it has such a pretty flower on top. Isn't that nice? Very pretty flower. Like kind of like a purplish white. Okay, so quick recap, then we'll check on it. We have 20 seconds. So, oregano, originally from Greece. It comes from the Greek words, two words, meaning joy of the mountains. So oregano means joy of the mountains. I really like that. So it's happy, growing in the dry, rocky climate. Grows well in our garden here too, in Seattle. Okay, let's check it out. Let's go check out the focaccia. It's gonna be good. Okay. Oh, wow. It looks great. It looks great. Here are my handy mittens. It could use a couple more minutes, but I just want to show you right now how it looks. Doesn't that look so good? Yum. Okay, so it said 22, or is it 22 to 24? I only did it for 20. So let's put it on the bottom there. I'm going to turn it around. Sometimes in my oven I need to turn things around. Okay. So we'll do 3 more minutes. 3 minutes more. Okay. So let's do some recap. Then I will show you the final result, and then that'll wrap us up for the day. So, okay, so originally from Greece, we talked about that. Joy of the mountains. Joy of the mountains, yes. It came to the United States after World War II when the American soldiers had enjoyed their experience in Italy with the herb, brought it back, put it on pizzas. Some of the cuisines that also use oregano: Italian, Mexican, Mediterranean, Greek, Cuban, Tex-Mex. There's a version of oregano called Syrian oregano, so I'm assuming that is part of the Syrian cuisine as well. Oil of oregano is one way to consume oregano. Also, the leaves, and fresh or dried, are good ways to consume it as well. And they're loaded with the compounds called carvacrol, thymol, and rosmarinic acid. Those are all responsible for that strong flavor that we get, and also responsible for bringing antioxidant qualities to the plant, which is always good for us. And oregano oil may help lower cholesterol. You may want to do a little bit more research if you want to start doing that, or talk to your doctor. But studies showed that people that did that took the extract, had lower LDL cholesterol and higher HDL cholesterol, which is the balance we want. Oregano is also antibacterial, antioxidant, and has vitamin K, has some fiber, it has some iron, some vitamin E, and some calcium. So, you kind of have to have a pretty good amount, but still, it's in there. If you have issues with the mint family herbs such as basil, lavender, marjoram, or sage, you might have an issue with oregano, so just keep that in mind. There are lots of different varieties of oregano. Some are more pungent than others. So that's kind of interesting. And how do we store it? In the fridge for fresh, in a glass of water, or in a container, sealed. If it's dried, put it in your pantry, in a dry container that's also sealed, away from heat and light. And if you're taking the supplements or the extracts, also keep those in a cabinet, away from light and heat. Oh my goodness, our bread is ready. Let's check it out, and then we will say goodbye for today. All right, let's check it out. Super excited. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. OMG. Look at that. Yum. Heart-shaped focaccia is the best, especially with fresh herbs. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining the show today. If you want to buy the smoothie book, you can buy it on relish.com. Check it out. And also have some oregano. The name of the recipe is called The Easiest Herbed Focaccia Bread. You can find that on relish.com as well. Thank you all for joining the show. I'll see you again next time. Have a great day.